Hey, so today on Tuesday Tip, we wanted to talk to you about the weather. As you can see behind me, it's raining. We're in week 2 of the rain. Last week it rained almost every day of the week, and we got numbers of inches of rain. This week it's Monday and it's raining again. It was sunshiny and pretty over the weekend, but it's back to rainy weather. I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of concerns that we get calls for. Questions that people call in with, and things to keep in mind with the amount of rain that we've had. First of all, obviously you have drainage issues. And so in your home, in your backyard, if you see water puddling or settling, remember this time of the year is the time of the year that it's really wet. But also remember this time of the year that we can help with those drainage issues, where the water, we can come in and rework some of those areas. We really can't do a whole lot during this time right now with it being so wet, but we can come in as soon as the weather dries up, as soon as it gets warmer and it dries up, we can get in there and put in some drains and do some different things. Another thing to keep in mind is right now we don't really think about it because it's like, oh, well, it's down the road or it's a little further out. But now is the time of the year that we also see the beginning stages of funguses. So there are brown patch, large patch, different kinds of things like that that are out there that you'll run into because of the issue of too much water during the green up process. So if you start seeing these funky looking circles or unusual shapes, or maybe the grass is kind of a brownish color instead of, as it starts to green up, notify us right away so we can get out there and put a fungus application. Most people think, well, the grass is dead and it's gone dormant and there's no need to worry about any of that. But the truth is the grass is actually still alive. The grass is still growing. It's actually growing roots during the winter months, during those colder months. And it's tightening up its root structure. And so if we get that fungus in there, it can actually be spreading during the winter months. And then in the spring, you can have centipede, have some places in centipede yards, we've seen it wipe out a good portion of the yard due to winter kill or take all patch, those kind of issues. So if you see that kind of stuff, keep that in mind. Another thing that we see a lot of times is we also see plants get a lot more disease issues when it's really wet and rainy, just because they're not used to having what we call wet feet. And basically wet feet is where a plant sits in water, and that roots sit in that water, and eventually it causes issues in the ground. It's kind of like you and I. If we sit in the bathtub too long, our feet start to get all pruny, or our ends of our feet and our finger gets all pruny, and it's the same thing with plants. And so what happens is that happens on the root zones, and then actual insects and disease can get into those places because it's a weak spot in the plant, and then it can actually cause issues with the plant as well. A lot of times when we see like annual flowers, you'll see this time of the year when we have a lot of rain, you'll see fungi, you'll see black spots, things like that. A lot of your roses will have, you'll possibly seeing spots on them if they're coming out of the process of developing. So just keep in mind this time of the year. Another thing that you're going to see is right now it's really wet and moist, and then in a couple of days when the sun shines, you're going to start seeing those wonderful fellows called ants. Ants will start appearing here in the next within the next month because the ground's really wet. They're going to start showing up once the ground starts to dry out and gets warm. They're going to rise to the top. They're going to come to the top. And then you're going to see a lot more ant mounds. So if those things start to occur in your lawn, or you start seeing some abnormalities in the turf or those kind of things, give us a call. Let us come out, take a look at it for you. It may not be anything of concern, but we'd rather be ahead of the game and be preventative on our program and be preventative with what you've got going on than to get into the dead of spring or the dead of summer and then have a bunch of dead weeds. So if you have any issues, give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you, and hope you have a great day.